have a look at the scenes here as they are on their way to those lecture halls. Sorry? Are you still with me? All right. So these are just the visuals. Students getting ready to go to where the lecture halls are. And of course, trying to enforce the shutdown that they promised they would enforce today. Maybe if we can just get one of the student leaders to give us an update on this particular shutdown. Let's speak to we are live. Thanks so much for your time. Just tell us what is the situation right now.
Wits remains shut. No amount of intimidation and arrogance from the Vice Chancellor. We remain shut up until our demands are met. That's all we are saying. Meet us halfway. Their internal demands here, 7,000 students that have received emails that they won't write exams because they are owing. A majority of these students are on NSFAS because they are failing to top up. How are we going to go to class with those amount of students? So the shutdown continues up until our demands are met.
Basically, the institution indicated that about 75,000 applications are actually hanging, and they are expecting about 7,000 students to come through next year, January. Do you consider that?
All those applications, they receive their admission in January. Nothing is lost. We receive admission once the results are out. They shouldn't intimidate us. Thank you.
Okay, that's former SRC President Dlamini just giving us an update that indeed Wits will remain shut, irrespective of whether police presence is huge here. We have seen security guards guarding every door of the institution, of the lecture halls, and as I'm speaking right now, they are proceeding towards the classes where we know that lectures are underway. So we will be keeping an eye on this particular situation here, but clearly police will not give it a go, because we have seen actually earlier on objecting or giving a no-nonsense approach to this particular protest today. So the institution, of course, earlier indicated that they won't allow this particular protest to go on because today we know that if it does go on successfully, the institution will remain shut, meaning there won't be graduations this year, meaning next year we won't see new faces at Wits University. And another thing is that we know that about 75,000 applications are hanging, so meaning 7,000 students are expected to come here next year. But if this protest goes on successfully today, if the shutdown continues today, then Wits University will be no more. 2016 academic program will be carried over to 2017. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Machaketla. That, of course, our reporter there reporting from Wits. Very dire consequences, as you just heard. Now, chaos has erupted at Wits University, where about 2 students have been arrested. And the situation on the university's main campus in Braamfontein remains quite tense. Now, security forces have fired tear gas and stun grenades to disperse a small group of demonstrations on the steps of Solomon Mahlangu House. Our SABC reporter Criselda Lewis was there earlier this morning, and she had this to report.
Well, there you have it, police there with some of the stun grenades, dispersing the students who are protesting, running towards the different directions there, Leanne, and really a tense situation here this morning. Police there holding one of the students who I guess now will be taken to one of the police vans here at the stage. They've now let go of one of the students, and police now giving chase towards the other direction as well, to try and ensure that the students no longer gather here in front of the Great Hall.
Me for asking too many questions, essentially about another student who was arrested. I was conducting an interview with ANN7, and when I inquired about the student, I was then arrested.
How many have you been arrested at this stage, and what is the way forward? Because the university is saying at this stage it wants the students to disperse from in front of the Great Hall.
Essentially, that was what students were doing. They were dispersed by the police using stun grenades. And as students were moving and running off, I was conducting an interview, and essentially we were trying to get our belongings from Solomon House after students were thrown out of Solomon House this morning by private security. The only reason why that group had gathered there was because they were trying to get their belongings from Solomon House. When they were prevented from doing so, they asked the police if they could wait for at least someone inside to bring their belongings outside, and that's when the police started shooting at students.
What's the way forward now? You've been resolute in that you will continue your protest despite management saying that the students should return to class and the lectures should get underway today.
Well, essentially, it all depends on the students and the masses that we know will come through today, later on today, to make sure that we continue on with the shutdown.